Welcome to YOUCANIC. Today here in YOUCANIC we have a 2012 Hyundai Sonata 2.4 motor and the hybrid system. And our check engine light happens to be on. We have a symptom of where when you hit the gas, because this is a hybrid, it's off, but when you hit the gas it starts up. It's hesitant to start and to go, and then it shuts off. I mean, that's the EV kick it in. But it just sounds rough. Something's not going right. But definitely a hesitant when you hit the gas pedal, and our check engine light's on. So we've got an OBD2 scanner hooked up. This is the UCAN one. We're going to go ahead and read the engine code and see what it says. We've got it diagnostic, communicating with the ECU, telling us that our engine code is on, which we know that. We're going to read the stored code, and we have one code of the P0076, the intake valve control solenoid circuit is malfunctioning. So the intake valve controlled solenoid circuit, and also a lot of times can be called the IVVTs, which is the variable valve timings. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at that, see if anything's messed up out there, and or we'll also just replace the sensor. We'll start with replacing the sensor, and if we have some other issues, then that would be something else to be diagnosed down the road. But we're going to go and locate the intake valve control. So you've got one on the front for intake, and you've got one on the back for the exhaust. So there's two of these, one on the front, one on the back. So make sure you turn the car off. Because it's a hybrid, make sure you remove and take the key out with you and away from the car so that it doesn't start up. Hybrids will start up. I mean, if it's in the startup position, it'll just start up automatically when it needs to. So we're gonna remove this cover, set that aside, and right down in here is the sensor that we're looking for, and make sure that it's connected right. If not, I mean, it's connected great, then we're going to just squeeze and unplug. We have a Torx head down there to be able to undo. So that is a T30, and so this is the intake control solenoid. Move that to the side, get it out of our way, right? So we have the intake control solenoid, and so your intake is on the front of the motor on this one. And then straight behind here, there's the exhaust intake solenoid. So depending on what your code says, the exhaust solenoid is on the back. It looks very much similar to this one. And the same method. But we'll go ahead and remove this T30 bolt. So with that removed, now we'll be able to use our flat blade screwdriver to be able to get that to spin a little bit, to then be able to remove it. Okay, so after moving it around enough and using some pliers, we were able to get it to break free and be able to pull out. And so this is what it's going to look like of the piece that you're removing for that solenoid. And this has things that move inside there. So again, we'll take a new one and put some fresh oil on there, so that it'll slide in there. And then, so the Torx that came out, it has been lost to the abyss of the bottom of the engine. So I had a 10 with the same threads, and so I just replaced that bolt with the size 10. It's not going to be that big of an issue. Then we're going to go ahead and plug the electrical connector back up. And re-put the cover back on, and now we will go and clear the code, start to check we have installed the intake valve solenoid. We've gone ahead and reconnected everything. Now we're going to get in the vehicle and we're going to get it in the operating mode and then be able to delete the code and clear it. So we're going to erase the codes with our code reader. It's erasing the codes right now. And we hit yes. And we're back. And the engine light has gone off. And everything seems to be working fine. Now, of course, we'll drive and monitor that for the next week or so, or you will. And if that same sensor comes back on, then you know that there might be some other things that you're going to need to look at to be fixing on your vehicle. But it's easy to start with sensors before you go ahead and dismantle the whole car. If there was other issues with this and that not being the code, then you'd have to do a lot more internal work on the engine, most likely, and that's a lot bigger job. Thanks for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.